Great. Hey, everybody. It's Pajama Life with our review of Nuremberg, the Beauty, and our reaction to the Oscars. Let's go.
Justice Jackson?
They captured Herman Goring alive.
What are they going to do with him?
There's no international law to base charges on. One country can't tell another country how to conduct themselves.
The U.S., Britain, France, Russia. 4 international judges.
You're talking about a tribunal.
Exactly.
We're standing inside a secret military prison. It currently houses the Nazi high command.
What do you want from me?
You, Dr. Kelly, have been brought in to inspect the prisoner's mental health. Your only job is to keep them alive.
This city is about to become the greatest show on earth.
As he falls, so do they all.
Do you plead guilty or not guilty?
Welcome to Nuremberg.
Hey, everybody. It's the Dynamic Duo. Woo! And we're going to review Nuremberg, the Beauty, and talk about the Oscars and what we thought of how it all went down. So, David, say hey to the people and tell me what you thought of Nuremberg.
Hey, everybody. Great to be with you tonight. This was a very, to me, a well-done movie. I've seen a few different versions of this story, but I thought that the casting was strong. I can't remember the actual length of the film. It felt like it was a pretty lengthy
it was 2
show.
hours and 25 minutes.
There was a lot, and I thought what we saw did a great job. There were a couple of key things we didn't see, though, that I think was very important. We hear about it more often now that the leadership of Nazi Germany, certainly by the end, but I think probably throughout their run from the failed beer hall putsch all the way up to the Soviets taking Berlin, riddled with drug addicts. And Hermann Goring, former World War I ace, was injured in that beer hall putsch when they tried to overthrow the legitimate government. Sound familiar, anybody? Mm-hmm. And lost. He was injured. He was wounded in that and became addicted to painkillers for the rest of his life. We saw a heart attack in the prison. We did not see, though, his withdrawal from the drugs. We saw a little bit of that, but it really wasn't emphasized, I think, enough to note that he didn't, before he took the stand, he went through and got dried out, in a sense. That actually enabled him to be far more competent, charismatic, and manipulative on the stand. Mm-hmm. But it was a well done story, a little bit of a tragic story in some respects. The protagonist here did not have a very good life afterwards. He wrote a book, not successful. I did like the interactions with Goering's family and the doctor. I thought that was an interesting piece. It's a good movie.
That was some crazy work, though, and I'll talk about it a little bit. But go ahead.
I think if you like historical movies, I think there's something to be said for this.
Yeah.
But I would encourage folks to read the books and maybe the actual transcripts of the Nuremberg trial. Yeah. So many important things came from that, not the least of which was what we know as the common rule. It's in not 2 CFR, but it's in 45 CFR, the Code of Federal Regulations, the protection of human subjects in federally funded grant projects here in the United States. It's a very important but dense set of regulations that show some of its origin from the results of these trials and the evidence brought forth against these Nazis.
And the rest from the Tuskegee experiments that
very much, yes.
Yeah, this was a really powerful movie, particularly in today's times. I think we can't forget that this wasn't that long ago,
No.
And people have a short memory, and we're seeing the rise of these groups once again. um, and the power manipulation grab on a worldwide level. But the movie is very well done. I was surprised it didn't get an Oscar nomination. I think maybe it didn't come out in enough time for the people to see it. And it seemed to have had a pretty limited run. But Rami Malek is absolutely amazing, and Russell Crowe, he kind of a long way from that gladiator body, but okay. But
he's a method actor. He went all in for the part.
Yeah, he went all in. And I thought you mentioned that the character was going to Goring's family, and I was like, what in the Sam Hill is he doing? That is really, he got two. This is the thing they warn you about, and I have a doctorate in social work, but this is what they warn you about getting too close to your patients. And he really got too close to this guy. I thought he was trying to study the nature of evil, and he ended up making friends with evil. And I was like, what you doing, man? What you doing? And the other doctors and people had to kind of get him in check, like, you okay?
Yeah.
That's the danger of, and what I thought it was interesting of how he was being seduced.
Yeah.
And that is indicative of what these kind of movements and cults do to people. They speak to you in a way that you can understand, and then they start to twist it. And then before you know it, nothing seems wrong. And so for him, he did not have the detachment that he needed to have to see where it was going. And I thought that was brilliant on the writing and Rami Malek's performance, because I was like, I mean, this little Nazi girl is hugging you and his wife. I thought he was going to actually sleep with the wife. I'm not too sure he did sleep with the wife in some twisted way. I was like, this dude, you need to go back to the basics of psychiatry, my dude. But I thought that the final courtroom scene was pretty cool.
Good.
I really thought that was good. And I had an inkling how it was going to go down, but I hope that young man was able to whisper to that. He said he was going to whisper to the Nazi before he was hung that he was a Jew. I hope he was able to do that. And you get to see what happened to them in real life, that the young soldier able to live to 95 years old. Praise God for that. And was able to live a full and rich life. And unfortunately, the doctor did not have such a rich life. But, you know, I think for him, the guilt of what he did really and his knowledge that, you know, evil doesn't always look different. It can look, ask anybody who's been in an abusive relationship or people who've been led down by some cults, that it didn't start off that way, but it ended up that way.
Well, and his conclusion, one reason why I think his life, you know, we're talking more about the history than the film, but sometimes we do that. His message in the book was not a message that the American public ever wanted to accept. The whole premise, and we saw actual pretty terrible human subject experiments in the 1960s, thinking this, trying to see, well, why are Americans better than Germans? What is it about our system, our culture, who we are? And the doctor's conclusions were that human beings can wind up in these cults, and they can goose step their way to just a horrific, nightmarish world. And there's no difference. It's, you know, it's like, you know, by the grace of God, go I, in these situations where people will fall into it. And you put the right circumstances, the right elements, the right senses of fear and worry and stress and need, and it turns people against one another, and it's so easy to have someone to blame. People
Well,
weren't
and
ready for that message, and his
yeah,
message was right.
and now we know, looking back at history, that many of those Nazi leaders went to learn about how to treat the Jews from American slavery. So it is a lot we haven't acknowledged, but that was very much a part of it. This is why it's important to understand history in all its forms, not just from the winners, but from everyone, every
Yep.
perspective of history. So it's important to read. Don't just get your knowledge from a podcast or YouTube, even though please watch our YouTube channel.
I was going to say, let's don't take away our audience.
You get your
here.
movie knowledge from us.
That's right.
But read a book. And this is a very great book. It's also based on a book. So definitely check out Nuremberg and the book that it's based on. Okay, up next is a wildly different, but is it really in its messaging? The Beauty. Let's take a look.
Our science is an antidote.
To what? A single shot makes you beautiful.
I got the beauty shot!
Is this real life?
There are gonna be so many maxed out credit cards when this shit hits the market.
One simple injection to become a beauty.
This is the closest to the fountain of youth anyone is ever gonna get.
Are there side effects?
Come there!
The beauty has been mutating out in the wild.
We go to market in 6 months. Fix the bugs.
It's gone from international virus to murder.
We're gonna fix this. We're gonna find a cure.
Every night I pray for your death.
Can we play some yacht rock?
Serious question. Am I gonna have like a huge cock?
A version of the beauty can spread via bodily fluids.
Sex?
It's an STD that people will actually want.
Okay, this was incredible. I didn't get into the AHS, the American Horror Story stuff, but this right here, this is what I was talking about. And it is such a great mashup of the substance and I don't know what, Bride of Frankenstein, something like that.
Some stuff there, yeah.
And it is really fun. It's not something you're supposed to take seriously. Although a couple of messages that I really started to think about, particularly looking at Nuremberg, was the message of what would you do for beauty? Because beauty is a form of power. And the same question in Nuremberg, which was, what would you do for power? And so this show is kind of the other side of the coin about the lengths people will go to achieve a form of power in their lives, which they believe beauty has and holds. And we know that that's true. There's scientific studies to show that beautiful people, pretty people get special privileges in society, and it's a way to move up the class system without money. But okay, so that's some sociological, psychological kind of stuff going on. But in terms of the show, who was the best? Isabella Rossellini.
Yeah.
My God, she is cold-blooded until the very end. She is cold-blooded. I loved her interaction with her husband. And she gave it to that dude. She didn't give a damn about him being the richest person in the world. She knew him inside and out and knew how to psychologically needle him as he knew how to get at her. But since she didn't give a damn about him, she really stuck it to him. And even at the end, she found a way to stick it to him at one last time. And her crazy clothes, and when she said, I'm a goddamn piece of art, was like, baby, yes, you are. And the nod to Death Becomes Her. That was brilliant. But I really enjoy Evan Peters seems to be in many of his shows, and he's really just a incredible actor. I really first saw him in Pose because I didn't watch all the other stuff, and then in Grotesquerie, and this one. I just think he's a formidable actor, and so many funny things about it, so many tragic, but the funny one was when his two boys took the shot and one of them came out black, and he's like, hey, what you know? I'm a 1% Nigerian. It was hilarious. So it ended kind of in an odd place. I'm really super hoping it gets a second season because this season was so wild, but has a lot of interesting things to say about the nature of pharmaceuticals, about the nature of beauty, and what lengths people will do with the new weight loss drugs, the new surgeries, and all of the twists and turns of it. I just thought it was fantastic, and a great soundtrack. Fantastic soundtrack. So definitely, you gotta watch The Beauty. I could keep talking. David, what you think?
Well,
oh no,
I didn't like it as much as you did. I didn't like it as much as you did. I agree with that. I didn't. Because as you say, there was a nod or an homage. I felt like, oh, well, we've had that with The Substance, and we've had that with this. And there was a movie we didn't have with the shots, but where there was a Bruce Willis sci-fi movie. He was a cop. And they had the robot people.
Surrogates.
Yeah, the surrogates.
I love surrogates.
So there's a nod to those things, but I did ask myself, I was in a critical mood, I suppose. Is this too derivative of those? I think the performances were strong. Rosalini was, oh man, if you wouldn't have said it, I would have. She stole that. Her 100%. Voice, her mannerisms, everything about her. She even popped in the trailer that we showed at the beginning of this. But no, it was good. I don't have the same sense of joy with this as you do, the guilty pleasure of watching this. But nonetheless, I think it is well worth it, and it is thought-provoking as good science fiction, I think, can. So enjoy that. But
David, here's the question.
Okay. What is it?
Would you take the shot?
I take the shot. Well, I take a shot every week to help with my diabetes. And it's slimming. It does all of those things, which leaves me still being the same person that I try to be.
You can look like anybody you wanted in the world.
Obviously this is a tempting kind of deal. I think there is something to be said in maximizing who you are, and I don't know that is. Yep. That said, and when you come up to me with the Lucky Charms and say, but every time there's a wish, there are always consequences. So I'd like to think I would say no, but what about you? Would you take it or not?
No, not to completely change who I am. I mean, I like me. I'm like Isabella Rossellini. I'm a goddamn work of art. So, but everything can be improved. And so I'm on an improvement journey. But I definitely think that everything that glitters isn't gold. So definitely, as we saw in the movie, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it.
Yeah.
All right. But The Beauty, go watch it. It's amazing.
It's okay.
David, not so much, but
it's okay. You'll like it. Maybe you like it. If you like it as much as Pam, that's great. That's great.
Woo!
I just didn't.
I love it.
Little thumb up.
The beauty. All right. Next up. All right, David. The Oscars were Sunday. This was a really good Oscar a show.
Yeah.
And lots of great outcomes, I think. Talk to me about what you thought of the One Battle After Another and Sinners kind of matchup and who won.
Well, they certainly went toe to toe. And Michael B. Jordan playing the two roles. He was brilliant in that. Again, I wouldn't have said it at the beginning, but I watched that Ethan Hawke movie and I did think he was spectacular. But Sinners was an incredible movie that you saw so much. So I'm really glad about that. Everybody talked about the Sean Penn and Leonardo DiCaprio film.
Yeah. One Battle After Another.
One Battle After Another. I do think Tanya was just fantastic in that. I think I'm saying her first name properly.
Tayana
Taylor.
Taylor.
Yeah. Thank you. There was a lot to like in these, but I think that Sinners is the rare movie that just dominated at the box office, had great music, and was well received by the critics as well. And I think, man, this was it was a good one. There were a lot of strong contenders. You made the comment about Nuremberg, where Nuremberg would kind of fit. Maybe it would have gotten something. My thought is, even for some of the films that I didn't like as much, even like that train movie with Uncle Owen, how are you going to take those films out to put Nuremberg in? I think it was a good movie in a tough year.
The Secret Agent, you take that out and you put in Nuremberg, and you put in either Rami Malek or Russell Crowe for Best Actor instead of Wagner Moura. That's how
I forgot how much you couldn't stand that movie.
Trash. It just wasn't great. It was not great.
But it was an exciting night, though. What were your thoughts on it?
So what I thought was amazing was the Sinners who won the different awards. Ryan Coogler has worked with these people for years. Ludwig Göransson is his college roommate. They were like
roommates. I didn't know that. Okay.
And they have stuck together this whole time.
Man.
The newest one is the cinematographer, and Autumn Armwart. I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing her name, but they met and he hired her on the spot for I think the first one was Wakanda Forever. And they've been doing things together ever since. And then who was the other person? Michael B. Jordan and him have been working together since the first movie, Fruitvale Station. And that collaboration has just grown and blossomed. And then he's producing partners with his wife, who was his girlfriend back before his film school. So he has kept these people around, and they've all kind of come up together creatively and in the business. And so you see that beautiful kind of magic you get when you know somebody intimately like that, and so it's
clearly good chemistry with all of those folks.
You could clearly see how Michael B. Jordan has evolved from his since Fruitvale Station and from Creed and those movies and now into this. So what a powerful and I knew, remember I said it here. I said if he wins for original screenplay, they're not going to give him Best Director.
That's right.
So I was looking for that, and I said, oh, okay, that's how it's going to go down. Now, One Battle After Another, I ain't mad at it at all. That it won Best Picture, Best Director, and a slew of other awards. I thought that it was just incredible. I think I've seen that movie 5 times at least.
Oh wow.
And I still, every time I get something new from. But Sean Penn did, of course, the most Sean Penn thing that he could do and not show up. He said historically he don't like this Oscars and the awards. It's too corporate, and he don't like having people get awards for this stuff. So he gave one of his Oscars to Zelensky.
Right. There you go.
That is so. But if I was Zelensky, I would not take that. That's kind of crazy to me. I wouldn't take it.
I think we've had enough leaders taking awards they did.
You know, I don't know if he did or not. I
mean, if you've seen Zelensky, he's probably a better president than he was an actor, and he was a comedic actor.
But the Autumn Anwar, I'm sorry, I'm not pronouncing her name right. Her winning Best Cinematography for Sinners, the first woman of color to win the award. I mean, it's been almost 100 years of the Oscars and no other woman has won. That's kind of crazy to me. But the other big thing that I was super happy for, and you were too, was that the Singers won in a tie for Best Live Action Short. Yeah. That was incredible. And I was jumping up and down, yelling and screaming, so happy, because that was one that really earned it. And I just felt that it was so powerful from such a simple story that it wrenched you. I mean, you had so much emotion in that small little 16-minute movie. And I encourage you to go to Netflix and watch it after this if you have not seen it. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is.
That was one of my favorites. And Frankenstein winning so many awards, well deserved, but I was kind of like, oh, Guillermo del Toro once again didn't win, but he definitely leaves his mark on cinema with the beautiful production design and editing and all of those that he won. It was just amazing. Now, the one I didn't like, and you have to tell me one you didn't like. I didn't like Jessie Buckley winning for Best Actress because yet again another British actress. I mean, I think they just said, "Oh, British check. Oh, okay, let's give it to them." And it's like, come on now.
Well,
even though that was a great performance, I just kind of am just over it. Just kind of over it. An American doesn't win when there's a British person.
Well, no, and that's because they actually train.
Yeah, but
to
still
be good actors.
Kate Hudson needed to win. Now
I love Kate Hudson.
I knew, but I put Jessie Buckley on
the
my
comments
list, so.
though. But again, the British trained. If you were part of English theater, if you went to any London School of Acting, any of that stuff, man, you are going to be better prepared than most American actors.
Excuse me, a lot of American actors go to film school and they go to like USC and NYU and they train Yale School of Drama.
I know they do.
They
and I'm
train
take
as
the British
well.
schools
You can't
every
say
time.
Americans don't train. They do.
Well, some
It's
do,
just
some
a-
don't.
it's just
some
a
of them, The Rock
fixation
didn't
they
train. Rock didn't train.
Who
Rock
did?
The Rock. Rock didn't train. I mean, he's tried, but he's like done more on his
He
own.
trained in the
I'm
ring,
saying,
baby. He trained in the ring.
Listen, it's like a March Madness thing, and hopefully folks who are watching this in between ball games. But it's like, when you've got a directional school playing Kansas is going to win. If you have a directional school playing against Kentucky. Kentucky's going to win 9 times out of 10. Better trained, better programs, better legacies.
I don't know if it's better or if it's just they have a predisposition to believe that these people are better because they are in British.
I'm dating myself a bit here. I'm dating myself. Go back and watch the prequels for a lot of reasons. You see the people who trained in London. You see the people who are trained in America. Both of them got the same level of direction from George Lucas, which was nothing. No motivation, no real plot, nothing. The people who went and studied in England, they could okay, this stuff is rubbish, but we're going to make it work. And that's what they did. The Americans were kind of stuck with.
That is a crazy take that Americans don't study and prepare and
not in comparison. Not in comparison.
What are you talking about?
In comparison
out there
with
kind
their
of
British
take.
counterparts, they're not weird. Americans have it. Hey,
No.
if you think that's bad, if you disagree with there, go and listen to interviews from rock musicians from England and listen to their contemporaries from America. The level of IQ points between the two.
Are you kidding me?
No,
People
I'm
from
not.
overseas come to America to learn how to rock. Are you kidding? You're talking about?
I'm talking about how smart they are. I'm talking about how smart they are. The guys from Queen.
What? See, you have an Anglophile attitude that it's like sprinkled with tea leaves or something that's all around there with the English lavender glow.
Well, I do think, hey, I always thank everybody for John Locke and the Magna Carta. But no, I was shocked. I listened to our rock musicians in an interview and I listened to the British musicians and I'm like.
But that has nothing to do with how they play.
No, but I'm just saying there's just a level of thoughtfulness.
Better.
There's a level of thoughtfulness that a lot of our people are just kind of missing in comparison.
Okay. That's an insane, crazy take. And I'm gonna let you have it. But I tell you what, the adapted screenplay nomination.
Let's go there. Let's talk.
Wait a minute, I don't have my glasses. But for One Battle After Another to win that one as well, I thought that was mwah. Because for him to take, I'm telling you, if you read Vineland and see what he did in One Battle After Another, he absolutely deserved that Oscar because
that's interesting.
It's complicated book that has it's like weird, and for him to take something that esoteric and artsy, I don't know if that's the right word, but to make it into a straight up action movie from something very cerebral is incredible work. And so that one, I was really, really excited. I thought that one was the one that he deserved the most.
I think that's a really great take, and I've not read the book, so I can't speak to it. But you're right. If you can turn something that's more of just a text and and a conversation piece into an action film, that is very impressive. And I guess my biggest take from this set of movies, though, was reinventing an old genre of the monster films. Sinners and Frankenstein both gave us such a new approach, a new take on stories that, we've grown up with, we've loved. Some, they've been campy and goofy, but there was such an intelligence and a beauty to what was created with these two. And it just reinvented, showing this in different ways and says, you know what? It's these stories, there's more room to tell these stories.
Oh, yeah.
There's more opportunities to show the issues surrounding who the monsters are and how the monsters are created and all of that great stuff. So those are two movies that I'm so glad got some levels of recognition. Obviously, Sinners so well deserved, but Frankenstein, was a really good movie in its own right.
And I think in any other year, this year was deep. You know,
it was, yeah,
it was deep with talent. I think in any other year, you could take any of those Best Picture nominees and plop them in, and they would have ran off with all the awards. And that's why I think this year was such a amazing year for cinema. And for me, a big takeaway was that so many of these stories were based on books. And I think 13 of the Oscar nominees, which is more than recent years, and the things that they were able to do with these stories and make them relevant for today, and to tell stories about, that's what great books and novels and art does. It's able to translate your day-to-day lives and emotions and things that are going on into something that we can relate to. Shakespeare was written what, 500-600 years ago, and we still are basing stuff on his work. That's great art. And that's what some of these great authors and great directors and great visual mediums are now able to do. Humans are able to do. Yes. I don't know about this AI mess, because that's just a plagiarism tool. But here's for the human element in cinema and art. So that can never be replaced. And that is our discussion. Hey, pop down below if you like what we talk about and subscribe to our channel. Also, to get your comments on YouTube, you got to be a subscriber. And we will really appreciate you appreciating us.
That's right.
So definitely, Desert Eagle, thanks for popping in and joining us today, as well as Starboy the Night.
Starboy the Night. I like that.
Luis Alberto, thanks for popping in. And we hope that you come back next time. And David, give us your final takes.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for joining us. Starboy the Night and Desert Eagle, good luck in your runs for the Arkansas Derby, because if you're not thoroughbred horses, those sign calls certainly, call signs certainly would indicate you could be. But no, have a great week, everybody. Hopefully you'll be in some good weather. It's either cold or tornadoes where I am, so we're probably going to get a tornado tomorrow. So everybody be safe and have a good one. Come back next week and we'll have a lot more fun as Pajama tries to tell me how wrong I am.
Yeah, this weekend. But next week we'll watch The Bluff, Mercy, and it's back. And I can't wait. Daredevil Born Again. Ooh. And Jessica Jones is joining the show this time. Hopefully she don't pop somebody's head off on this season. But we'll be back next time, and we'll see you. Take care. Bye.